Hey, this is Corey from Wolfpack Woodcraft, and I recently did a video talking about my 5 favorite knives. In today's video, we're going to talk about why I don't plan on buying any more. Now, if you haven't seen that video, I'll link it at the end of this video so you can check it out. But I did spoil the reason, well, one of the reasons that I'm not going to be buying any more knives is because I own these 5. When I go to I have a cabinet full of knives. These are the 5 I always go to. One of these 5 is the one that I'm always using, right? I have a ton of other knives, but I'm always picking one of these 5. And if I bought another one, I'd probably still pick one of these 5. They're my favorite. I love using them. I'm experienced with them. I know what they're capable of. I know how to use them. I know everything there is to know about them, and I'm comfortable with them. And so these are the ones I use. So there's no point in me buying more just for them to sit in my cabinet, right? The other main thing is they are expensive, okay? As I'm trying to become more self-reliant, as I'm trying to not rely on outside help and professionals, I want to do more things myself. It requires more tools, it requires more know-how, it requires a lot more things. And every time I invest in a brand new knife, that's money that I could have invested in something that's going to help me move forward in my self-reliance. And so instead of buying a new knife, I bought a jumper cable or a jumper kit. And this thing has saved me more than a handful of times just this winter. This thing is amazing. Here in Minnesota, when the extreme cold, when it's really cold outside, like negative 40 degrees out, car batteries just stop working, right? They just die instantly. They can't handle that extreme cold, and then you got to go and you have to jump start them. Well, when you have traditional jumper cables, you usually wind them up and keep them in your trunk so that they're tucked out of the way and you don't think about them until you need them. Well, when it gets really cold, they stiffen up and they turn into like a giant spring. And so you're trying to hook up your car and then you're trying to pull it to the other car, and they keep trying to connect back to each other, and it's a nightmare. And you're out there and you're freezing and it's miserable. This thing works even in negative 40 degree weather, and that is amazing. I can run out, I can hook this up to a vehicle, start it, get back inside where it's warm. Caroline was stranded. She was stranded at a gas station, and she was stranded at work one time. I was able to drive to her in my heated vehicle. She was able to get into my heated vehicle, warm up. I could go out, do this by myself. So while she was warming up from being in a cold vehicle, I was able to go in, jump start this without her help at all, and then she was able to wait for her car to warm up, and we were able to get back home and do what we needed to do. And I can't say enough good things about this. I'll do a dedicated video on this jump starter, so if you're wondering which one it is and all the specs and features and everything, I'll do a dedicated video on that. But the other thing when it comes to vehicles is like my scan tool. I bought a nice scan tool that can be used for lots of different vehicles, lots of different things, and this allows me to work on my own vehicles. Okay, so this keeps me from being stranded in the middle of nowhere waiting for someone to come jumpstart me. This thing allows me to work on my own vehicles so that I'm not reliant on a mechanic. There's been too many times where I've called to make an appointment, my vehicle's not running quite right, so I call the mechanic and they're 6 weeks out. Or they're not accepting appointments because they're backed up for months. They have too much work, they're not accepting any more appointments, and now I have to find somebody else. I have to find a mechanic that I can trust, that isn't going to rip me off, you know what I mean? And it's stressful. And by buying the tools, I can now take care of it myself. I'm not waiting 6 weeks just for the appointment. I'm fixing it within those 6 weeks so I can get back on the road. I'm not trying to find mechanics that I trust. I trust myself. All right, I can do it. Now, I'm not fully self-reliant when it comes to fixing vehicles. I still need to rely on a professional mechanic sometimes, but it's for the bigger jobs, the ones that I can't handle. I cannot rebuild the transmission. I still need professional help for that. But all like the wheel bearings, the sensors, the modules, a lot of the wiring, a lot of that stuff, because I have this tool, I can do that myself. I can find the problem, I can diagnose it, I can look at what's happening, what's going on. I mean, I can fix a lot of things myself, meaning I don't have to wait a long period of time to get my vehicle fixed. Also, I save a ton of money. This thing was very expensive. I'm not gonna lie. This was super expensive. I'll do a video on this as well, telling you why I picked this specific one. It's expensive, but it ends up cheaper in the long run. I'll make a video on it. But it's paid for itself lots already. Between working on my vehicles and Caroline's vehicles and everybody's vehicles, this thing has well paid for itself. And the capabilities of it are huge. It can even copy keys with a immobilizer. Everybody knows there's those keys with the sensors in them, and it costs a fortune to have them copied or rekeyed. This can copy those keys. It can't rekey it. If you lose all your keys, this ain't going to help you, and you're going to end up spending a fortune. But if you have a key already, this can copy that key into your ignition so that you can go on Amazon, buy a key that's very, very affordable, and then use this machine to copy it and have a spare key. And that alone pays for this thing. Just being able to make spare keys can really save you a ton of money. And so, yes, knives are cool. Yes, knives are fun. Yes, I enjoy knives. I enjoy using different knives. I went through that phase where I had to test all of them, figure out what I actually liked, what I actually needed, what fit my personality, what fit my way of doing things. But I've done that already. And I found the 5 that work best for me. And so now I'm trying to broaden my horizon and find other skills and other tools that are going to help me in much different ways. So consider subscribing if you want to learn more about becoming self-reliant and the journey that I'm on to become as self-reliant as possible. Hit that subscribe button. Thumbs up this video if you enjoyed it. And I can't wait to see you on my next video.